And welcome everybody to the Paranormal Portal, our Wednesday edition. We are live and fresh at it after a 2-day hiatus. It's great to be back. Thank you all for being here and being a part of the shows. Of course, we love it when you're here. We love being here with you, and hope you're having a great week. We're halfway through it. Hump day. Hope you had a great hump day. But I've got wonderful news. Hey, I'm tilted a different direction. Look at that, Don.
I'm not.
I'm tilted a different direction.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. You know what I forgot to do, too? I forgot to do something. But I guess I kind of let the cat out of the bag here. But just hold on with me, ladies and gentlemen. What happened was I had an interview with the Phantom Faction podcast.
That's right.
And we were having real troubles with all kinds of stuff. And one of the things that came up, of course, was my cameras and sound and everything. So, as you can imagine, it was an absolute adventure. But I'm gonna try to troubleshoot that as we go here because that's how we rolled on.
Woot woot.
Woot woot! I'm trying to fix the chat thing on screen too. Hopefully that'll start working. There we go. Got the on-screen chat working. So yeah, that's why I'm reversed. Unfortunately, so is the lettering, and that's not good. So I'm going to work on this, but while I do that, let me put you in touch with my good friend and co-host, Mr. Longbeard. Welcome, sir.
Back again from a little hiatus. I heard you had our friend Kate on in my place.
I did. Yeah, he did a good job. We had a lot of fun. He and I. Whatever. I hope that you understand that we did miss you. We truly did miss you. We were wishing you could have been here as well, but unfortunately,
Whatever.
your life took and threw a curveball at us all. Your life threw the curveball at us.
Yeah, work does that, and unfortunately they decided, oh, well, we need you at 5 o'clock in the morning, and that means like up at 3:30, and it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Not
Like the
the
Hodge
right
Twins. I watch those guys every once in a while. The Hodge Twins. Those
I
guys
have
are
no idea.
they're just they're just funny. They're comedians, but they do like political commentary on YouTube, and it's kind of it depending if that's your cup of tea or not. But they crack me up though. Anyway, they're twins. It's not like identical twins, and they always go yeah like that. They look like they're wrestlers. I mean, they're just huge, bulky guys. They're enormous. Those guys are. But welcome to the Paranormal Portal, ladies and gentlemen. I'm still working on my camera here.
Well, you work there because I want to say hi to Lindsay because she said, "Welcome back, Don. Cade's got nothing on you."
Oh, that's nice. That's a little validation, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Oh, and a big quick shout out to Kirsten too. Thank you at the top.
Yes.
She did a $5 donation. We do appreciate that. Thank you.
That is wonderful. Keep talking though.
Oh, keep talking. Okay. Hey, why should I? Oh, apparently, unfortunately, it sounds like Carlton had some issue with his TFR last night.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that, brother. I know. Believe me, we know issues.
We are no strangers to those words.
I wish I had no idea what you're talking about. But we've been baptized by fire in so many ways
and brimstone
on YouTube, on TFR, on pretty much every platform, on Revolver. Yeah, every platform we're allowed. We have problems. So, and it's funny that they keep allowing us back. But
yeah, they just keep going. Oh, you keep putting out content, we'll keep screwing you up.
Yeah, exactly. I'm launching my my webcam thing now, so I can switch it around. And the only reason I'm giving this so much precedent right now, ladies and gentlemen, is I don't want the words to be backwards on the screen.
Yeah, Cashew says the Paranormal Portal side is reversed. Eerie.
Yeah, I know, right?
It is crazy. It's like I looked over and went, oh, that's scary.
It is. It's rather scary.
What would the portal be in reverse? Perfect.
Why don't you?
It would be perfect.
Yeah, it would probably be flawless. It'd be flawless, Don.
Wow. You know what? Let me do a quick roll call while we're doing this.
Please do, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. We got Aussie Tiger. We got BLB. Is that Adam or is that Jake? I don't know. Got Bomber, Carolyn, Cashew, Cookie Jarvis. How you doing, buddy? Doug Hovius. Name just changed. Gemini's here. Hi, Gemini. Isaac's here. Jordan's here. Kirsten, as I said. Hi, Lindsay again. Mara Murphy. Got Nessie in the house. Awesome. Paul Holland, Smoking Joe, Staghead Logging. We got Mr. Carlton with Pharmacy Seeds Network. Don't forget, if you can catch his show on TFR, do so. TFRlive.com. I don't know his times, though. Apparently it was
Tuesdays.
last night, so
Yep.
Tuesdays. Then we got Titan and... the list just changed again. Titan, who just popped in?
That's why it's hard to do the roll calls.
Brad Forsey, that's who it was.
Oh, nice.
So there you go. That's the quick roll call for YouTube. And back to you, Brent, for the newest in the news.
Hey, look at the screen. It's perfect now, ladies and gentlemen.
Nice.
This is my Vanna White.
Your Vanna White. Oh,
All right, ladies and gentlemen, during the course of our show tonight, the phone lines will be open.
yes.
If you have something paranormal of your own that you'd like to share, we'd love to hear from you. And you can get a hold of us by dialing 720-923-0500. Again, 720-923-0500, or the number's always right up there if you want. You can always find it, or keep watching the chat. Our mods are great about posting stuff like that, so we can all...
Carlton says, put on Vanna's dress, Brent. Oh, no, he says, don't put on Vanna's dress.
No.
Sorry, I misread that.
There's some things are just too even more paranormal than we're willing to cover here.
That's not paranormal. That's
It
just
is for me.
abnormal.
It's paranormal for me.
What was the name on the jar? Abby someone?
Abby
Carolyn Start. No, I got you, but Carolyn Start's here too. So it was Adam. BLB was Adam, and so much Jake just popped his head in. Big head.
Oh, fantastic,
Big
guys.
Rob there. There's Jake again. Yep.
So I guess without further ado, I hope y'all are ready because we're going in. All right, we are back at it. Wendy McDonald is here as
Nice.
well.
Hi, Wendy.
Hi, Wendy. Good to see you. Awesome. I'm glad you're here. And me. Apparently, she's here in many ways.
Nice.
But yeah, we're gonna cover a lot of stuff tonight, as is per usual, and we're gonna do some Bigfoot stuff because we love us some Bigfoot. In fact, when I was saying, Don, what do you love talking about? And he said, I love me some Bigfoot. No, he didn't actually say that, but we do love covering the Bigfoot, and I know it's definitely a crowd favorite for you guys as listeners that you like when we talk about Bigfoot stuff, and I'm happy to do it.
I have to give a shout out to Brad Forsey. He says, I stopped in for the and more in the show title.
Well, don't worry, we've got more
There
as
is
well.
more, yes.
We've got a bunch of things pulled up to go over with you guys, and so we can certainly start off with that. Right off the bat, I wanted to cover an article here I found. This is a report coming out of, where is this? Zimbabwe, ladies and gentlemen. Apparently out of Zimbabwe. Here's some of your more right now, and be careful what you wish for.
Oh, boy.
So from Zimbabwe, this is coming from unexplained-mysteries.com, and the article is.
That's an awesome picture.
It is awesome. It says cops flee goblins found in suitcase.
Found in suitcase?
This is coming out of Zimbabwe, ladies and gentlemen, but apparently police down there found a suitcase with what could be goblins in it. So let's get to that. It says a bizarre report from Zimbabwe claims that 2 cops discovered goblins while searching a suitcase. According to the story, the peculiar incident began when businessman Sanderson Bloom Shumayashi, who runs a grinding mill at the Lupote Business Center in Deet, D-E-T-E, was accused of being responsible for the deaths of several dogs and that had ended up poisoned after venturing into his homestead. Well, that's probably not where he wanted dogs, but local villagers in the area were so incensed that they enlisted the help of 2 police officers who confiscated his suitcase and decided to open it and look for evidence of poison supplies. When he opened it, however, they discovered a number of goblins inside, which terrified them so much that they turned tails and fled as fast as they could.
How big were these goblins?
I don't know.
He said several, right?
Right, several. It just says several, but I just keep thinking of the J.K. Rowling movie, the monsters, the one where the guy's got the suitcase full of all these creatures.
As a matter of fact, I just watched the
Fantastic
second
Beasts.
one
Yeah.
just like 2 days ago.
Yeah. So I'm thinking this is like totally up J.K. Rowling's era.
Hold on, let me get the zoo out.
Yeah, exactly. But they were shocked when they saw strange beings, which they believed were goblins, and were seen running for their dear lives, a source told B Metro.
Running for their dear lives.
For their dear lives, yeah. Apparently, this isn't the first time Shamayashi has been accused of strange activities either. Most recently, he was seen by villagers digging a grave of a relative of his wife. The sources say he fled for the scene, leaving his shoes, which were used as exhibits, and the issue was taken to Chief. I gotta lean in.
Let's get ready to murder a name.
Yeah, you know it's going to get bad when I got to lean in. Nilokoba. After a full trial, the chief ordered him to leave the area, but he denied vehemently that he was the one who was seen desecrating a grave. He, Shumayashi, said the chief should enlist the services of witch hunters, popularly known as another name that I'm not even going to try to brutalize, to come and sniff out the witch, saying if that other name catch someone else, he would take the villagers and the chief to task. The strange report highlights just how much supernatural beliefs and superstition still endure in Zimbabwe. Suffice it to say, this is one story that's worth taking with a very large pinch of salt indeed.
You better be a block of pink Himalayan.
It's like a salt lick. You gotta take it with that. I don't know. Here's the thing. Could there be creatures that were found in a suitcase? I guess. It's strange.
Like a raccoon, maybe.
Right. Yeah. I mean, what if it's just hamsters? But in Zimbabwe they call those goblins. I mean, we don't know. I don't know. I like the idea that things like this could happen, but the logical part of my brain just slaps me and goes, yeah, but did it?
Did it really happen?
And
really?
I don't know. I don't know if it did or didn't. It's pretty far out there, and you always have to defer to the logic.
Yeah.
Because the fantastical can get absolutely absurd sometimes.
Just watch the J.K. Rowling movies.
Yeah, well, I love those though.
The Nifflers.
The Nifflers, yeah. Yeah. So now, speaking of goblins, there's another story. Well, this is interesting too. Okay, well, I got to read two of them about these goblins. This is the more, and then we will get into the Bigfoot stuff. Don't you worry, all you Bigfoot lovers. We will be heading into the Bigfoot lands shortly. This one is from the same unexplained-mysteries.com. Prophet blames goblins for a spate of 10 deaths.
Wow.
The surviving members of a family in Nyanga, Zimbabwe, again Zimbabwe, claim to have been tormented by malevolent spirits. The fascinating yet unsettling story, which demonstrates the extent to which witchcraft beliefs still influence the lives of people living in certain regions of southern Africa, concerns the plight of the Nzvenga. It's Nzvenga. Nzvenga? I don't know. I'm doing my best on that one, guys. Family whose members had been allegedly dying under mysterious circumstances. Desperate for a solution, the surviving members reportedly sought the assistance of Madzibaba shepherd Nzira, a respected local prophet who leads a shrine in the local area. Family members had been dying mysteriously until we established that there was witchcraft in the family, said Francis Nzvinga. I just sound like I'm stroking out every time I say that. We could not figure out who exactly was behind the death of about 10 family members, and then engaged Madzibaba Nzira, who exposed the culprit. During his investigation, Nzira reportedly discovered several items of witchcraft paraphernalia, including a clay pot filled with blood and a knobkiri, a type of club, tied with a hyena tail. People who appeared on the list in the clay pot were bound to die in the near future, he said. I prayed first and summoned the ghosts to expose themselves. The family will not be haunted again. While this might all sound rather far-fetched, the family at least seems happy with the outcome. We are happy that he got to the bottom of the mystery and fished out the culprit, said Nzvinga. We hope the cleansing rituals will eradicate our problems. Without knowing the specific circumstances surrounding the deaths in the family members, however, it is impossible to know for sure what really happened. So there we get into like curses and stuff, you know. I do believe wholeheartedly that stuff can happen and can have consequences, especially if you're in a culture that really stresses about that kind of stuff. So the energy is just magnified by the regional belief,
Right.
and it becomes so much more empowered, in my opinion. So in a case where you're in a country where witches cast evil spells and can hurt people, I think it really does multiply the effect of such a ritual as binding names in a pot for death. I think that the two could be very interrelated. So I don't discard that story. I mean, it sounds out there, but ritualistic attack is nothing new. It's about as old as time.
Right.
As old as our cultures, that people have used the spirits and ritual to cause disfavor or problems for others. And so, there's something to that. And again, I fall back to my growing up. I was told over and over, energy follows intention.
Right.
So if you intend to hurt somebody, and you create a ritual and you do it with all the conviction of your heart, then they're going to have problems. Those
Right.
people are probably going to have problems because that energy does go somewhere. And it depends, again, on the ability of the person doing it to channel a lot of energy. But if they're capable of it, there could be real problems. So I don't take things like that lightly.
No, and we talk about it on Paisley's show all the time. Is set your intention. If your intention is positive, then it's you're good to go. If your intention is negative, but also remember that sometimes even if you have a positive intention, it could be adverse effects to the other person, or even you. So
Bomber's saying looter. We can't hear you.
I don't know what that means.
Who's quiet, Bomber? Let me know. Outside voice, aka Jake Show voice. I don't know what's going on. Are you guys having trouble hearing? Let me know.
Well, it sounds like they're listening just fine.
If you're able to hear me, then that's great. I'm not sure what that was about, but
How you doing, Taco?
oh, hey, Taco.
Taco just popped in. So.
Okay. Well, welcome back. But that was a story, another one out of Zimbabwe, and it has to do with those beliefs. And again, the beliefs are powerful. They can become powerful. The next one is also it's another one having to do with goblins, since we landed on goblins and I found some other articles. This one is
They're multiplying like goblins.
yeah. This one's from unexplained-mysteries.com again, and it's Yoda-like forest goblins found in Indonesia. Now, I find this one interesting because, of course, they did find the Homo floresiensis, the Hobbit skeletons in that cave in Indonesia that are definitely not human. They are from some diminutive creatures that had allegedly lived in the area. The legend goes that apparently villagers were turning up missing, and they blamed these little diminutive creatures for doing it. And the local tribes people all got together and herded all those hobbit creatures into the caves and burnt, put fires in there, just much like the Lovelock Cave situation with the giants, but they killed the whole group of them. Mm-hmm. And that's what the bones are doing down in that cave down there, according to local legend over there. But there is the orang pendek, and orang just means people in Indonesian, and pendek is little, so little people. So there is reports to this day of these things, so which are generally described mostly looking like small Sasquatch, though, or possibly some offshoot of what could be another type of orangutan. An orangutan, orang is is people again, and then Utan is forest, so it's people of the forest. So I don't know. Let's read what this one says, though. But my point bringing that up is that there is reports of this stuff a lot in Indonesia, and there's a lot of concerted efforts to study the orang pendek, including Cliff Barrickman has been really involved with that. And I think even Dean has been involved with that, Dean Harrison, to some degree as well. So let's get into this. So 2 brand new species of small tree-dwelling primate have been discovered on the island of Sulawesi. Well, this is more like a lemur. But anyway, let's see what it says. Named Tarsus something else. There's about 30 letters in the next word, Don.
It's Latin. No, it's
Tarsius spectrum guryeskiae and T. supratinae. The 2 species, which are both types of tarsier, which were initially identified from recordings in their vocalizations. Both were found living in the northeastern forests of Sulawesi, an island in Indonesia. Tarsiers were once a common sight across Asia and North Africa rather, but are now only found scattered across the islands in Southeast Asia. Their numbers as well as their forest homes have been in decline for years. They're cute little guys, though. I'm going to put them on screen. Because outside of the ears, they do kind of look like that Baby Yoda thing. Don't they have the big eyes? Look at those eyes. We'll continue here. We're both found, let's see, their numbers as well as their forest homes have been in decline for years. They always startle me in the jungle, said herpetologist Rafe Brown. You can see the glowing eyes of wildcats, even in the dark, but not the tarsiers. They're like little furry forest goblins.
Goblins.
So that's really not.
You could probably get a couple of those in a suitcase.
Yeah, you could, I guess. Maybe that's what they found in that suitcase in Zimbabwe.
Several of those.
Yeah, so there you go. They're cute little things, whatever they are. I'm not going to show the video because
you know there's a video that's going around Facebook. Well, that has gone around Facebook of this little creature in his house. You know, it's been domesticated or whatnot, or they tried. Anyhow, so you know it's jumping and it's kind of leaping and kind of half flying, and it's a tarsus in that video.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that could be.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that might stand to reason.
Yeah.
Okay, well, there you go. That's the report on goblins tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you enjoyed that. That was the more.
There's some more.
There's some more. There is some more, but I don't think I'm going to read anymore.
How can I have some more of something I haven't had any of yet?
What do you mean?
Sandlot.
I don't know.
S'more.
Oh, no, I got
You're
nothing.
killing me, Smalls. You're killing me.
Yeah, still nothing.
See, yeah.
You can
You've
keep working.
never watched The Sandlot?
I don't think so.
I
No.
think that's a strike.
It might be, but I'm not the most diverse, culturally aware person. You know, I mean, I kind of have a tunnel vision in life, and I'm.
That's like one of the greatest movies ever made.
Yeah, that's probably true, but I still haven't seen it. Just saying.
So Black Tree's like, hey, now, Don. Well, now, wait a minute. How many Black Trees can we get in a suitcase? Love you, Julia.
Bada boom, bada boom. Wow.
Oh, Brad says he's satisfied with the and more. So well done, Brent.
Okay, thank you. Says, holy crap, Brent. What happened? What did I do, Jordan? Oh, because I've not seen The Sandlot? Yeah, sorry.
Bomber says, stop what you're doing and watch The Sandlot. Not yet. We still have another hour
you've
and 45.
got more to do with us first. We got about an hour and a half.
We're hanging out.
We are here to entertain you, darn it. So just sit back and get entertained. That's an order. No, I'm just playing. Let's get into some of the Bigfoot. Don, what do you say?
Hey, let's get into the big feet.
Well, I found an article on the Chinook Observer. ChinookObserver.com. It's the Bigfoot next door. 100 tell of encounters. I don't know. I don't think there's hundreds here. But there's some, and we can get into those. So
Sure.
why don't we do that? It says Bigfoot next door, 100 tell of encounters. It says Pacific County. In 2002, the Chinook Observer's Damian Mulinix, on one of his first professional assignments, went looking for Bigfoot in the hills above State Route 401.
That's usually called professional suicide.
Oh, really? Well, I call it a career, Don.
There you go.
We're still looking for Bigfoot
It
and
is-
ghosts.
It is what
and-
we make of it.
That's right. With Eric Frenstad of Astoria. This must be in Oregon, yeah? Isn't Astoria in Oregon?
Astoria, yes. It's
Yes.
where Goonies was filmed.
Uh-huh. See, that I've seen.
Are you sure?
Yes. I know I've seen that one. All right, so I got as I got through the first grouping of trees, I could make out a figure on the edge of the hill, tall, standing next to a giant hemlock. Fremstad approached fearlessly. I quickened my pace as I got closer. I could see that the beast was not moving. Was he frightened by my intrepid guide? Was he communicating with him? Was he made of plywood? Oh, my heart sank as I approached and saw it to be true. The creature that I had risked my life from certain death on the side of a hill and on a logging road was made of plywood and old brown carpet. Wow, somebody stole his mask, said Frenstead. The face was an old gorilla mask. And it was then that I found out how my guide was such an expert on this particular Bigfoot, because he is the one who created him. Fremstad was at the urging of some of his friends, built the 9.5-foot tall sculpture 2 summers ago. He scouted out the location well, driving by the area on his way to work at the Nacelle Youth Camp. Once put together, Fremstad hiked up the hill twice because he had to bring it up in 2 pieces, and then attached it to a tree on the edge of a cliff above, above a landslide overlooking Highway 401. The beast's eyes were made from red reflectors, and its fur was some old carpet Fremstad got from a friend who was remodeling a house.
Shag carpet from
Yeah.
the 70s.
Fremstad
Yeah, baby.
told me that his Bigfoot was a big hit with many of his friends and associates, noting that many of them had made the trek up the hill to meet the beast. One time, this even resulted in some females taking photographs with the monsters in their birthday suits for research purposes, I'm sure.
Because of the big feet.
Yeah, and it says, although Fremstad's art project was a creation meant to amuse rather than convince, there are many other eyewitness accounts from our region telling of encounters with the Pacific Northwest legendary man-ape. It's easy to dismiss these bear sightings or the vocalizations as cougars, but it's often obvious, that these hundreds of stories are backed by sincere belief in Bigfoot. The Chinook Observer's editor recalls a sober and serious neighbor of the old Columbia River fishing village of Altoona telling of a terrifying 1930s night when she and her friends believed they were being spied on by monsters above them in the deeply shadowed ancient forest. A descendant of the Chinook tribe, she had no doubt that what they heard was a Sasquatch. There are many more recent accounts around Washington and Oregon, even in populated and heavily logged coastal areas of the Pacific. Waikum and Clatsop counties are an online database maintained by the BFRO, has reports from the past decade, including one from Clipsand Beach in 2011. Whoa. The minion just jumped or something. BFRO investigator Scott Taylor posted a lengthy account, excerpted here. Sorry, I had to sniffle.
That was a snort.
Well, yeah, snort, sniffle, whatever. I had to do it. Either way. There's a younger male about the witness stated that they had numerous and regular interactions. There are 4 that they see regularly. There's a younger male about 7 feet tall and fairly thin build who they interact with most often. He's estimated by the witness to be around 500 pounds.
Wow.
That's huge. This Sasquatch has long hair on its head, shorter than on its body, a mixture of brown, red, and black hair, and an ape-like nose. The facial skin is very dark. He said that there's also a large male, mixed colors of hair, brown, gray, and white, long on the head, shorter on the body, and he has a human-like nose. One time they were able to observe it next to an object of known dimension, and later they went out and measured the height and width of the shoulders in relation to the object, and this individual was comparatively measured at 9 feet tall and 5 feet across the shoulders.
Wow.
just imagine that. Oh
But it's
God.
9 feet tall, 5 feet across the shoulders, and is this the one that was estimated at 500 pounds?
No, that was the
Oh.
7-foot one that was
Oh,
estimated
okay.
at 500
All right,
pounds.
my apologies.
So this one would be
Wow.
way bigger.
Wow.
8, 9, 1,000 pounds anyway. The female is more shy. They've only seen her silhouette. Her voice is different than the male's. She's reported to smell very good, while the males smell bad. That's so true in so many cultures. That's so true across the board. That's just biology, I think, right there.
Yeah.
The witnesses feeding them a variety of foods, but they seemed to like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. While I was there, the plate was on the hood, but the sandwiches had been thrown on the ground. These sandwiches were made using white bread, and normally the witness uses wheat bread. Evidently, the
Bigfoot
Sasquatches.
likes sweet bread.
Apparently, the Sasquatches don't like white bread.
Daryl's having an issue.
Oh,
Food fight.
oh,
Bigfoot named Daryl.
Bigfoot named Daryl. Yeah. Okay. One evening, the witness was on his front porch, and the younger male was standing in the brush, about 30 feet away. The witness patted his chest and said, "Dad," 3 times. Then the Sasquatch patted his chest and said, "Guag." Possibly this could be the name of this Sasquatch.
What do you say?
Guag.
Huh.
Guag is how it's spelled.
'Cause
So,
it's pretty close to
Glag. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Huh. This possibly could be the name of the Sasquatch, and if so, this is a remarkable breakthrough. In another report, a man tells of planning to spend the night in Long Beach in July 1979 and then setting out, walking towards Astoria with a friend after midnight when the party turned sour. We walked miles. However, we were relieved just knowing we got out of town and away from those wicked girls. I don't know what's going on there, but so it says, "Woo!" So now we have walked to Ilwaco, Washington, and it's pitch black out.
It's Ilwaco.
Ilwaco? Okay. According to the witness report, we were laughing and joking when suddenly we heard a growl that instantly stood the hairs up on our necks up in a frenzy. Reporting on a follow-up interview, BFRO investigator Taylor said he described the sound as otherworldly, like it came from the depths of hell. I know that sound, Don. That's exactly what that growl was that I heard. If I was going to describe it, from the depths of hell, sounds about right. It sounded like nothing he had ever heard before.
Wow.
They both stood there frozen for a few seconds, and then they took off running down the road. He said that he was afraid to see what it was, and they ran for what seemed like miles.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
That's just about exactly
yeah.
my situation. It's just like I couldn't turn around. I didn't know what it was. I mean, even after that, I had no idea that it could be Sasquatch. There was just because I didn't know they were there. But God, we just ran and ran and ran and ran.
Bet.
But yeah.
Can't say I blame you.
No, that was the only option left. It's like fight or flight, and
We know which one took over.
yeah, because I knew whatever made that sound was not in my fight category.
It's like, peace out, bro.
Yeah, exactly. So I was
Howdy.
just making a run for it. That was it. Other reports have been made in recent years from Nacelle, North County, Deep River, KM Mountain, and Grays River. The Grays River report from a hunter whose encounter was in November 1978 is especially detailed.
Nice.
The creature we both saw, at least 7 feet tall, possibly more, had bright red eyes, which kind of glowed in the near dark light conditions that we were in. The creature, which turned in front of me less than 6 feet away, was a real hulk, big barrel-chested, massive arms and shoulders. And the really impressive fact was it never made a sound
Wow.
when it turned to leave. It just seemed to float away. It was very hard to keep calm, but I knew almost as soon as I saw those red eyes what this creature must be. I've hunted and fished this country for years and have never had anything like this happen before. But I truly wish I could see him again, and may yet. Yeah, that's so intense. I don't know. Just imagine just all of a sudden you're there in the in the evening, and suddenly this big shadow appears, and it's 7, 8, 9 feet tall, and it's got red glowing eyes.
Right.
What would you do?
Code Brown. Can I get a putty scraper, please?
Excuse me while I whip out my spatula and take care of this. Yeah, I think I'd get. I'd be making trouser cakes too.
Trouser cakes.
I'd be baking some trouser cakes.
Wow.
Fresh from the oven.
Yeah, I'd be like, setting land speed records and stuff. I have no no want to bump into something like that. Even though we went looking for one just recently.
Yeah. Well, we looked for a lot of stuff recently.
That's true.
But, I think we found some stuff too. So.
That's true too, yeah.
Yeah, that would be it's just horrible. Wow. Yep, trouser cakes, seeds, you can use that. I think I just made it up. I believe I did, but I can't be sure. But feel free to use it. Spread it around.
Cha-Cha asks, is that the cousin of trouser trouts?
Jesus. No, I don't believe they're related at all.
No relation.
I don't believe so.
Yeah, I wouldn't claim relation to that either. Oh, wow.
I don't think it's even on the same family tree, Cha-Cha. So, we'll wait here for you, D. D says, I'll be right back, kind of parched. Well, get a beverage, get a libation of your choice. So the BFR database has 6 reports from Pacific County and 2 from Wakiakum, but counties closest to the wildlands of the Olympic and Cascade Mountains have many more. 43 in Grays Harbor, including one from November 2018. Now I got to ask you, Don.
What's that?
Of all the population densities, is there more population density by the Olympic Peninsula than these other areas?
Astoria, no, because that's more of a more urban. But I'm from Grays Harbor. That's where I was born. And they're not big. The nearest big town is Ocean Shores.
Okay, so
I don't think Hoquiam and Aberdeen. I know Forks isn't that big. Sequim, no. No, you could take all those populations and probably add it together and maybe equal, maybe Yakima.
Okay.
And so, no, they're not huge populations, but there is so much open forest up there.
Sure, and the reason I'm asking is because I'm curious if there's just more population density, so there's bound to be more sightings up in the Olympic Peninsula way, or is there just more Sasquatch up there? You know what I mean?
It might be true because we talk about there's 700 million square acres of Is that what the...
in North America.
Yeah, in North America alone.
Yep.
And so, but that, you say North America, that includes, Canada as well. Right. So, and there's a lot of it here, just out on the peninsula there. Yeah, absolutely. It's a lot of trees, a lot of untouched area.
But does the Olympic Peninsula get a lot of traffic from... in terms of tourism and stuff like that?
No, not really. There's nothing over there to see unless you're going over to the ocean. Westport, Kingston, places like that. But those are you've got to be on the water. I mean, the inland parts of it, they're not so much.
Okay. All right. So it continues. It says 47 from Lewis County, Pierce County, which surrounds Tacoma, has the highest number of reports in Washington. Sure. 80. BFRO counts 672 reports statewide in Washington. It sounds like so. So this one's called the Clatsop Beach Visit, CLATSOP. Oregon with 253 reports either has fewer Sasquatch.
Did you say Oregon again?
I might have. Oregon. Sorry, Oregon. To all you Oregonians. Yeah, it's Oregon. With 253 reports, and this is funny because this is the question I just asked.
Okay.
Has either fewer Sasquatch or fewer people with excitable imaginations. Excitable imaginations.
Wow! Did we just get called?
That was a little
cuckoos?
Disparaging. Yeah, that was a little bit offhanded. Wow. I think. Bastards. All right. So, however, there's a particularly colorful account from the South Jetty Observation Tower, just south of Cape Disappointment. There's a cape called Cape Disappointment.
There's a couple capes that are disappointments.
Oh, okay. The witness posted a report in 2005 concerning an incident they said occurred in the winter of 1978 or 79. It was a very stormy day, and the surf was high, crashing over the rocks on the jetty and pounding the beach.
Is this a person, a novel writer? 'Cause
I don't
that's-
know. It's starting off pretty good.
That's nice.
From the viewing tower, I saw a man-like figure walking down off the grassy area onto the beach. At first, I didn't think too much of this person out on the sands, but then I watched as the figure neared the edge of the water. It was waving its arms up and down facing the surf and the tower. There was another person on the tower with his daughter, and they too saw the figure, and we looked at each other with a, "What the hell is that?" look, but said nothing and continued to watch this figure standing on the beach. At this point, I noticed a pickup truck with its lights on approaching up the beach from the south. Then the scale of the figure really struck me. It had to be a good 8 feet tall or more. The figure quickly turned away and moved very fast off the beach before the truck was even in range. It did not run, but rather strode the 30 or so yards to the dune edge, and it took 1 or 2 steps up the embankment and was gone. I was all excited and scared of what I'd just seen. I decided to go to the nearest parking lot area where the figure came down to the beach and see if I could get another look at it. And as I approached the beach, I became even more afraid. The wind was so strong I could hear nothing but the roar of the surf and the howl of the wind through my coat's hood. My dog was anxious and stayed really close to me. I went to the beach, found where it had come down the sand hill. The sand was all torn up from its passage. But when I discovered the hill was an easy 10 feet high, I really became fearful and decided to return to my car and leave instead of following the tracks into the grass.
Mm-hmm.
The vivid picture of a sandy-colored figure standing near the surf, waving its arms, still stays with me today, nearly 30 years later. So now, curiously, I'm wondering, what the hell was it doing? Was it motioning to the people that were observing from the tower? Like, "Get out of here, you kids.
This is my turf.
Get off my lawn."
Hey, the beach is closed.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I don't know.
This is Sasquatch time. Get out
Yeah.
of here.
Yeah, we've got it reserved. But you got to wonder, what was it? Because he said it was facing the surf and the tower when they happened to be in the tower. So was it motioning to them like, "What are you doing here? Get out of here. We're going to get some clams. Me and the family are just about to grab some clams or something."
Oh,
I don't know. You know what I mean?
sounds good.
Yeah, I suppose it does. But I'm not really sure from that narrative what the implied activity was all about, other than
Right.
it was just waving its arms like a lunatic. But an interesting article nonetheless. So that was some Bigfoot right there. What do you think, Don?
I think Cha-Cha's got a dirty mind syndrome tonight.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Anyhow,
Now.
I often wonder, what Bigfoot would be doing down on a saltwater beach,
Yeah.
because that just doesn't make any sense to me.
Well-
You can't drink the water.
No, but I will tell you that there have been witnesses that have allegedly seen them swimming to, like, the islands off of, the San Juan Islands. They've been witnessed swimming into the
Oh,
ocean.
true.
So,
Yeah, true. That's right. Yeah, I remember that's been mentioned. Yeah,
and
that's that same area.
And I know that some of the First Nations people, they of course, still to this day collect some of the clams and stuff on those beaches during low tide and stuff. And
Oh,
they
good
and they
point. Yeah,
talk
that's right.
about the Sasquatch coming down and witnessing them there as well. So I think that they foraged the beaches as well. And remember that English lady that was on?
Oh yeah, on Wes's show.
Yeah,
that's right.
and she saw them gathering
That was in
seaweed.
Oregon too, right?
I think so. Yeah,
was in
either that or
Oregon.
Northern California.
Yeah, something like that.
I think it was in California actually, but
Harvesting seaweed.
I
Well,
think
even
they're-
they know it's a superfood, huh?
I guess so.
Wow.
Sasquatch knows it's superfoods.
He knows that he likes his wet lettuce.
Yeah, but yeah, she did say
That's
that
right. I remember. Yeah.
that they were in the big male was in the water grabbing seaweed and stuff, and the females and the younger ones were kind of closer in.
Right.
But I don't know. I'm sure that they utilize that for their foods just as well as any other place. Hi folks, howdy, Paranormal Portal guys. Hey,
It's
Overbuilt.
overbuilt.
Good to see you.
Tom Paul Cajun. There's a new name.
Tom Paul Cajun. Good to see you. Good to see you, Tom Paul Cajun. Welcome to the show. I'm glad to see new faces. That's always exciting to me, is when we get the new faces. It's great to see you guys turn up.
You might want to say hi to Relish, too.
Hey, Relish. Hello to everybody. I mean, I'm so thrilled you all are here. Thank you so much.
Relish.
We've got 79 people here, Don.
Wow.
So, you know, it's time to switch it into high gear. You know what I'm saying?
Better get some good stories up then.
What do you mean? Those were good, weren't
They
they?
were great, yes. For my neck of the woods.
Speaking of your neck of the woods, what do you got for a story?
You know, this is on the and more side.
Okay.
You know, this last week there have been people down in Australia talking about this green fireball flying across the area, an area. I'm not quite sure. It's like Victoria, Canberra, places like that. And let me see here. So I pulled up this, and somebody a news. It's from a news outlet. And it says, "Did you see the fireball in the sky?" And that's from what's the news outlet? ABC. Here I go. Illawarra.
Oh, really?
And so that's so it's talking about there are reports of a large fireball in the sky tonight, with reports from Sydney to North Victoria and west to Canberra. Did you see it? Let us know. And I find this interesting because one of our friends posted on their Facebook that they were driving and saw what looked like a green shooting star. Only problem was there was 3 meters off the ground heading west towards the tree line at a 40-degree angle. I expected to see a green light on the highway somewhere, but it was pitch black. No road work, no nothing going on. Told one of the friends, and she saw the same thing. It says she saw the same exact thing when she was waiting for a tow truck. So that kind of piqued my interest. So I looked up the story. So I went to, what was this? I found from ScienceAlert.com. It says a spectacular fireball was just caught in Australia. Experts don't know what it was. It was in the early hours of Monday morning when Denby Turton, 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 a mechanical fitter at the mine in Western Australia, saw a curious light streaking through the sky. He and 3 others were sitting on top of a crusher, waiting for it to start up, when the boss suddenly exclaimed, "What the heck is that?" He turned just in time to film a flaming ball of greenish blue shoot across the night. It went for ages, super slow. We all couldn't believe our eyes. I tried to video it, but all the lights on the site made my camera not focus properly. That is an issue, because it will pick up those closest light sources. Luckily enough, they weren't the only ones working a shift in Western Australia. I imagine not. Mitch Brune, a rope access technician at Nelson Point in Port Hedland, had his phone on hand. In 17 seconds, he managed to snag one of the best videos out there. It must have been going for at least 30 seconds, he wrote, when he was contacted by Science Alert. I was amazed at what I was seeing and how it lit up the sky in such a bright green glow. Never in my life have I seen anything like it, which you can tell from all the swear words in my video. Wow. Earlier on the night shift, Mitch had also spotted a shooting star. I made a couple extra wishes after witnessing such a crazy visual in the sky, he added. An hour south along the coast, a regional police station counted their blessings by the blue light as well. When you come across a meteor whilst on burglary patrols, when you come across a meteor, okay, so they were counting their blessings when they were on burglary patrols.
Okay.
Unfortunately, there's no way for us to tell what this fireball actually was. We asked someone, the project manager at Desert Fireball Network, a system of 50 cameras covering about 3 million square kilometers of the sky from Western Australia all the way through South Australia. All night, every night, this network is watching for bright shooting stars and meteors. Not meteorites, meteoroids is exactly what it says. entering our atmosphere, so scientists can recover them if they survive the plummet to Earth. By capturing these objects from different locations entering our atmosphere, she said her and her team can triangulate where the fireball comes through our atmosphere. And with that, which is pretty awesome, you can back calculate and figure out where it came from in the solar system. Not only that, you can see if there's any rock left at the end.
Wow.
You can figure out where it might have actually landed and go recover it.
It's that math stuff.
Yeah, well, and math stuff, and then you end up with, like King Tut's dagger.
Sure.
That's really valuable information given scientists have approximately 60,000 meteorites on hand and less than 40 with enough precise data to calculate an orbit. In 2017, the network actually caught a meteorite grazing the atmosphere above Australia before kicking it out once again into space. This is the most recent fireball. However, fell inside the network's range, which means who knows? At one point, she says they actually had cameras in that region, but because of the native rock that is magnetite, hence all the mining,
Right.
it's hard to tell the type of black magnetic rock apart from the space rock. We started putting cameras up there and realized it's hopeless that we'd never find one. So basically, they didn't find anything.
Oh, so there's no idea.
Yeah, it may, if it was a piece of space junk, it's unlikely to have survived the journey. Most man-made materials get shot into orbit.
Right.
Is designed to burn up in our atmosphere.
Yeah, we don't like them falling back down.
No.
That's not good for
Skylab. Remember
not good
Skylab?
not good for
They
the
were
brochures.
They were selling those helmets.
Yeah.
Fireballs, on the other hand, usually stop burning at about 20,000 or 30 kilometers up 18 miles. So even if the light fizzles out, some material could still make it down. I would be very surprised if there wasn't meteorite droppings. Although she notes it may have had enough speed to jump back out into space again.
Oh, sure.
If anyone's wandering around there and manages to find something, then we'd be very, very excited.
Yeah,
currently, there's no plans to go looking for fallout.
That's big money, though. I mean, people make big money by collecting those meteorites.
Well, yeah, because you get lucky one day and meteorites have gold in them and cha-ching. You see where I'm going.
Yeah.
So there's some other.
Yeah. Well, that's some of the other. Yep. Now I've got another article here. This is back into the Bigfoot lane for all you Bigfoot lovers out there.
Swerving back into the lane.
Swerving back into the lane. And this one comes from National Geographic.
Oh.
This is from 2003, so it's a little bit old, but it says forensic expert says Bigfoot is real.
Really?
Now it's older, so a lot of this information's already well out there and established in the Bigfoot community. But I think it's a good reminder because sometimes, the people that don't wanna acknowledge this, I mean they defend their paradigm so desperately, and they want to make it foolish for people to be pursuing Bigfoot. I think it makes perfect sense to keep looking and to find out what exactly is going on here. But anyway, let's get into this article again. It's from 2003, National Geographic. It says, "We've all heard the stories of large hairy ape man that lives elusively among the woods. But is he fact or fiction? Well, experts weigh in." Well, they said experts. I don't know. I only saw the one identified in the title, but let's see what they say. It's been a subject of campfire stories for decades. The camera elusive, grooming challenged bipedal ape man that roams the Bit Mountain regions of North America. Some call it Sasquatch. Others know it as Bigfoot. Thousands of people claim to have seen the hairy hominoid. They say hominoid, but the evidence of its existence is fuzzy. There are few clear photographs of the oversized beast. No bones have ever been found. Countless pranksters have admitted to faking footprints. Yet a small but vociferous number of science. Did you see I pronounced that absolutely flawlessly, Don? Vociferous. You want to hear it again? No, I'm just kidding. Number of scientists remain undeterred. Risking ridicule from other academics, they propose that there's enough forensic evidence to warrant something that has never been done. a comprehensive scientific study to determine if the legendary primate actually exists. Given the scientific evidence that I have examined, I'm convinced there's a creature out there that has yet to be identified, said Jeff Meldrum, a professor of anatomy and anthropology at Idaho State University in Pocatello. Thousands of sightings. Sasquatch stories go back centuries. Tales of mythical giant apes lurk in oral traditions of most Native American tribes, as well as in Europe and Asia. The Himalaya has its abominable snowman, or the Yeti. In Australia, the Bigfoot is known as the Yowie Man. Yowie Man? No, I think they just said no. It's a Yowie Man. Sorry. Everything is... what the hell is this? What the hell's going on? Oh, okay, here we go. It just split weird. Okay, so... Okay. Jesus. I copied this. Here's the problem. I pulled up the article, and then they had a pop-up that's like trying to get you to subscribe. And it's like, God, I don't want a subscription. I just want to read the article. And so I quick grabbed it. I copied it and pasted it to my notebook.
So now
and
you got an ad.
so now I got an ad in here in the middle. I'm just like, what? So, I don't, baby worms. Okay, so science. Blood plasma touted as what? No. Bigfoot advocates hypothesize that the primate. This is the work I do to bring you guys this quality information, ladies and gentlemen.
Yowie Man.
Get back to Yowie Man. Bigfoot advocates hypothesize that the primate is an offspring of an ape from Asia that wandered to North America during the Ice Age. They believe there are at least 2,000 ape men walking upright in North America's woods today. I think that's a very, very low estimate.
Low number, yeah.
An adult male is said to be at least 8 foot, 2.4 meters tall, weighing 800 pounds, and have feet twice the size of a human's. The creatures are described as shy, nocturnal, with their diets consist mostly of berries and fruits. I think that's ambitious as well. But Matt Moneymaker has been searching for Bigfoot for years, of course. The man himself. In the woods of eastern Ohio, he claims he finally came eye to eye with the elusive primate. It was 2 o'clock in the morning, and the moon was a quarter full, recalled Moneymaker, and suddenly there he was, an 8-foot-tall creature standing 15 feet away, growling at me. He wanted to let me know I was in the wrong place. Moneymaker, who lives in Dana Point in Southern California, is a lawyer who runs his own marketing agency in his spare time. He leads the BFRO, a network of more than 3,000 people who claim to have seen the Sasquatch. Unfortunately, no one has been able to snap a clear picture of the beast. I don't know, in 1967 they got a pretty good video. I'm just saying. Perhaps the most compelling photographic evidence of Bigfoot is a controversial short film shot by Roger Patterson in 1967, which appears to document a female Bigfoot striding along a riverbank in Northern California. It certainly wasn't human. Now, Bigfoot advocates are increasingly turning to forensic evidence to prove the existence of the giant creature. Investigator Jimmy Chilcutt of the Conroe Police Department in Texas, who specializes in finger and footprints, has analyzed more than 150 casts of Bigfoot prints that Meldrum, the Idaho State professor, keeps in a laboratory. Chilcutt says one footprint found in 1987 in Walla Walla in Washington State has convinced him that Bigfoot is real. The ridge, flow pattern, and texture was completely different.
It's all right. Keep going.
Was completely different from anything I've ever seen, he said. It certainly wasn't human and of no known primate that I've examined. The print ridges flowed lengthwise along the foot, unlike human prints, which flow across. The texture of the ridges was about twice the thickness of a human, which indicated that this animal has real thick skin. Meldrum, meanwhile, says a 400-pound, 180-kilogram block of plaster known as the Skookum Cast provides further evidence of Bigfoot's existence. The cast was made in September 2000 with an impression of a large animal that had apparently lain down on its side to retrieve some fruit next to a mud hole in the Gifford-Pinchot National Forest in Washington State. Meldrum says the cast contains recognizable impressions of a forearm, a thigh, buttocks, an Achilles tendon, and heel, and it's about 40 or 50% bigger than a normal human, he said. The anatomy doesn't jive with any known animal. A few academics believe Meldrum could be right. Renowned chimpanzee researcher Jane Goodall last year surprised an interviewer from National Public Radio when she said that she was sure that large undiscovered primates such as the Yeti or Sasquatch exist. But the vast majority of scientists still believe Bigfoot is little more than supermarket tabloid fodder. They wonder why no Bigfoot has ever been captured dead or alive. The bottom line is they don't have a body, said Michael Dennett, who writes for Skeptical Inquirer magazine and who has followed the Bigfoot debate for 20 years. Bigfoot buffs note that it's rare to find carcasses of a grizzly bear in the wild, and while that's true, grizzlies have not escaped photographic documentation. Hair samples that have been recovered from alleged Bigfoot encounters have turned out to come from elk, bears, or cows. Many of the sightings and footprints, meanwhile, have proved to be hoaxes. I don't know. I think there's plenty of very believable prints. After Bigfoot tracker Ray Wallace died in California nursing home last year, his children finally announced that their prank-loving dad was created the modern myth of Bigfoot when he used a pair of carved wooden feet to create a track of giant footprints in Northern California, logging camp in 1958. Dennett says he's not surprised by the flood of Bigfoot sightings. It's the same kind of eyewitness reports we get for the Loch Ness sea monster, UFOs, ghosts, you name it. He said the monster thing is a universal product of the human mind. Jeez. We hear such stories from around the world. So there you have it. They had to close it out with a jerk. No, I mean he's it's fine if he wants to be a skeptic. He sure could be, but it just shows you their bias when they. Hello. It shows the bias when they end with the skeptic.
Yeah. Yeah.
What the hell is going on?
I don't know.
Am I like going dead on you too?
I hear you just fine.
So I haven't had any issues?
No.
Okay. That's weird. Then my headphones are goofing up or something.
Everybody's hearing you.
Okay. Well, it was just like going dead in my ear there for a second. But I mean that's frustrating, of course, when they reframe the whole thing with the opposition. Mm-hmm. And then they close it out there. So it's like, why do that? Why not leave it open at the end and just take a non-biased, hey, whether you're this way or this way, the debate is still open.
Right.
But they didn't do that. So I don't really respect that a whole lot because I think that that's very intentional. But then again, it's National Geographic. Sound is great. Thank you, Cashew.
But they're talking about Skeptical Inquirer, and they're a bunch of jackasses.
They're jackaxes? Yes, they are.
Yes. Yes.
In the spirit of family friendly, they're jackaxes. We've got a phone call. So let's get to this phone call and find out what's going on out there in the listener lands. How you doing? Area code 865, you're on the air.
Hello, hi.
Hi. How are you tonight?
Can you hear me okay? Hey.
Yeah, hearing you
good. I'm doing great.
Good. Who are we talking to?
Okay, great. My name's Roger Wilco.
Hi, Roger.
Hey,
Wilco.
Roger.
Good to see you. Good to hear from you, brother. What's on your mind tonight?
Okay, I love it when people talk about Bigfoot, and especially the DNA, because if you're going to have a DNA sample, you have to already have that animal's DNA sequence to be able to compare it to. Mm-hmm. There is no admitted Bigfoot DNA sequence, so there's no point in really doing those tests unless you're using to prove a point, like down the road. I really was messing with Bigfoot at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, but
so
don't you think though that
so the tests to me just seem like publicity stunts. It's like it's not ever. No one's ever gonna admit that they found Bigfoot DNA. I mean, unless they actually have the beast.
Right.
You get what I mean?
Sure, but don't you feel also that at least it can also prove what it isn't? Maybe it can't prove what it is, but it can prove what it isn't.
Well, that's a really good point. Yeah. I mean, sure. I mean, you're absolutely right. But I think these guys are after something definitive.
Sure.
Everybody wants that definitive Bigfoot. I mean, that's what it's all about. So, but you're right. That's a really good point, and I didn't think of it that way. Anyway, I had one experience that I thought was a lot of fun. That was a Bigfoot Sasquatch experience that I just wanted to tell you guys, and then I was gonna hop off real quick.
Oh, sure. Yeah, please go ahead. We'd love to hear you.
Okay. Okay. Now, when I was younger, I was in the woods a lot with my buddies. We'd camp, and it was a lot of people did that when you live around you've got a lot of woods around. And there was one night it was just one of those normal weekends. We're all just standing around a fire talking, and I look over and like at the edge of the firelight, that right at the edge of the campfire light, looked like, and my reference was King Kong. I didn't think Sasquatch or Bigfoot. I was like, man, that looks like King Kong standing over there. And we spoke, and I noticed my buddies were looking in the same direction. They all kept glancing over there. So I said, does that look like King Kong to you? They all were like, yeah, I was looking at that too. That looks just like King Kong. As soon as we started saying that, it's like there was the slightest, just the most subtle movement.
Oh.
And we were gone, just like a bullet. We ran out. But, it looked like King Kong was standing there, and it was I was convinced at the time. It terrified me, but I think a lot of people have had these experiences in the woods, and especially with people with them, and it really solidifies this idea. Especially when you have people with you,
Yes.
and you all see it. But who knows what you really saw? It was a lot of fun. I thought it was funny. I'm sure a lot of people can relate to it.
Yeah.
So I'll let you guys go, and thanks for the time, okay?
Hey, anytime, brother. Thanks for
Roger.
calling.
Okay, guys, see you. Bye-bye.
Have a good one.
No, I gotta admit too, that's a good point, because the encounter that I had, even though I didn't see it, I just heard it. But if I hadn't had someone there with me, Don,
Right.
I don't know if I'd be talking about it today, because I would have just probably gone, I don't know, and it would have just gone into well, was that really real? Did I really hear that kind of
Right.
pile
Right.
where you discard it? But the fact that I experienced it with somebody, he's absolutely right. It really solidified it to me. It's like, I know he heard it too, and we both had that same experience and a dialogue, and then we bolted out of there. But man, that's intense. Looking over and seeing what looks like King Kong sitting there looking at you.
Yeah, that would be disturbing.
Oh, jeez. Oh, man. That's a whole different level right there. But at least they made it out okay. And I think that's the curiosity. That's the curiosity right there. They're curious. They want to know, what are we doing? What are we up to? And I don't know if they're just entertained by that, or if they're actually observing and learning, or maybe both. But there does seem to be this fascination with whatever we're doing. They love to pay attention to it.
Well, everybody has to have their form of entertainment, of course. But it's really interesting, though. I mean, I have no idea where I was going. It just went right out of my head.
Well, it is interesting and fascinating. You're absolutely right. But no, I think that the DNA stuff, they're going to map it at some point. I would think if they can get a good sample. I'm kind of curious, and I think he probably knows more about DNA collection than I do.
Right.
But I don't know. When you have a sample, isn't that also mapping it when you're breaking it down and looking at where the markers are?
Right.
Doesn't that equal mapping?
Well, yeah. I mean, but they have nothing to compare it to, so they can't
Right.
they can't definitively say it's an ape or
Sure.
it's a gorilla or
Sure.
anything like that. And to have it on hand and go, okay, well, this matches an unknown that we have. Then you just kind of pile up that unknown DNA and say
Right.
we've got 80 cases of unknown DNA and we don't know what to do with it.
Right.
So eventually someday someone will come up with something. But what's the likelihood if they have actual, because let's talk about Mount St Helens back in like 1980, right?
Okay.
There's stories that come out of there that say that there were Bigfoot, tribes of Bigfoot, dead on the mountain. And there was a Bigfoot supposedly helping these searchers find, the surviving Bigfoots, whatever that may be.
Okay.
So so you've got these kind of, and then the big thicket, our buddy, our big brother Bear, when he was on, he's like, and Cindy Goodbreak talked about, them going down into the big thicket and
Sure.
the government, the big they, and possibly purging. You know,
Yeah,
so
that's
you know you've got these interactions with these governmental entities,
hmm
whether it be military or black ops, private ops, whatever. That are you've got these connections, and they've got to have some kind of DNA.
sure.
And so, but then you also talk about, well, if they had the DNA for a Sasquatch and they had a Sasquatch, don't you think they'd be like, running tests on it? This
Sure.
this product's been proven to create cancer in Bigfoot, that kind of thing, testing soap and lipstick on a poor guy.
Yeah, that's probably what they're going to use him for.
But I mean, that's the
hair
whole
is
point.
so soft.
Gosh, he's no longer groomed, challenged.
Yeah, that's right. His hair is now nice and manageable.
But they want to control that information too. So
Yeah.
it's like the Smithsonian with the giants,
Oh yeah.
so
Well, that's the other side of it, and that's the sad part, and it's hard to understand just what's going on. But the stories of especially the Smithsonian, and I'm sure that there probably has been bones recovered of Sasquatch, and
Yeah,
and
maybe.
even in First Nations burial areas, there's reports, and I know our friend Nase, who's Anishinaabe, he talks of the original Anishinaabe were believed to be like 7 feet tall. They were like enormous. So maybe some of these are the original Anishinaabe, but they're talking about digging up these burial mounds and
Right.
finding these giant skeletons, like 8-9 feet tall, with what looks like
oh, and even bigger,
yeah, and even maybe even bigger. I don't know, but my point is that suddenly these just disappear. Then they're no longer
They're
heard
gone.
or seen, or they're just gone, and they disavow any knowledge of them. What are they doing? Are they breaking down that genetics and trying to make bigger people? Or I always think of the super soldier kind of program, and I realize that kind of sounds marvelly, but when you look back at our history.
Marvelly.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
because
it's out
Captain
of-
America
yeah,
and stuff.
exactly, yeah.
But when you look back at our history, Hitler was known to be trying to crossbreed gorillas with human beings. I believe Stalin did the same thing, or one of the successors did the same kind of stuff, trying to make the super soldiers.
Right.
And so, if we do have these creatures out there, and if they are known, I really think there are already stories of crossbreeding happening between humans and these Bigfoot, whatever
Yeah.
they are.
Yeah.
And so there is obviously a genetic similarity enough to the point that there could be a procreation and a viable offspring from that.
Well, there's that story from somewhere I don't remember,
China.
and probably,
China.
and somebody had captured like a female.
Oh yeah, that's
and
Zana.
bred with it. Zana.
That's
Okay, yeah.
Zana that's from up in Russia.
Yeah, okay. So you
Yep.
know what I'm talking about. And
Yep.
then there was an offspring from that.
Oh, there's several
Yeah,
actually.
there
Well,
you go, yeah.
the story goes, and I just went over this the other night, but that Zana was kept in a pit or a cage for like
Right.
3 years until her spirit
Right.
was broke. Then she never did learn to talk, but she hated wearing clothes. Even as cold as it got, she would not wear clothes. Hated to be in heated areas. She was always liking to be cold, but she did have these offspring, and apparently she liked wine, so they get her really drunk. And you
do
go ahead
things
and
with her.
fill in the blanks on that one,
Yeah.
but yeah, I guess it gets pretty lonely up there in the the mountains of
They don't
that
have any
region.
sheep.
But yeah, apparently they were fresh out of sheep. I don't know, but oh God, I don't feel well. But I mean, there was offspring prior, but they said that after she had the babies, she would go down to the river and try to wash them in the cold rivers, and it would kill the babies.
Oh.
So immediately after she gave birth, after having this happen 1 or 2 times, they took the offspring and basically adopted these children out to the families
Right.
in the area, and they grew. And one of her offspring was I don't remember the name. The name Kavit is coming to mind, like KVIT or something. But I don't know if he was the one, but he was supposed to have a jaw that was so strong he could bite onto a chair with a person sitting in it
Right,
and
and
lift
lift
them
it
off
up.
the ground.
Right.
And there was other stories of her offspring, alleged offspring, having incredible strength and being incredibly strong. But the offspring did do just fine and became a part of the society and had children of their own.
Right.
So there may be a genetic line out there with those markers, but the question is what was Zana?
Right.
And so of course there was that story of that that gentleman from, I think it's from Cambridge University or whatever, geneticist, that went over there and found some samples to test from that line. And basically he came up with, well, he did the same thing on a Yeti thing too, and came up with that was some thought to be extinct polar bear or a version of bear.
Oh my.
But he also tested apparently the Zana or some material that was thought to come from her offspring, and thought that maybe Zana was some kind of primitive, possibly of African lineage that had been up in that area, living in the mountains. And that doesn't wash with me very well. I would think she was probably either some carryover of Neanderthals, because there's other stories coming out of Russia of people living in caves and
Right.
having shooting these wild men in caves. And so there are stories like that up in that region. So maybe she was a female of that. But she could also be some, version of the Sasquatch. I don't know. But and then there's a story out of China where the woman was abducted by a Yeren and
Right.
taken advantage of. She was able to escape, came back pregnant, and had offspring there. I should try to find that video because I've talked about showing it. And I think we did show it a long time ago.
Are you talking about the Japanese giant? No.
No. No, this is something else.
Something
Let me
else,
see.
Something totally different.
Human.
And now for something totally new.
I'm not going to do the sound. Hybrid. I'm just looking to see if I can find it. Here it is. Yep. All right. Let me see if I can cue this up.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Okay,
that. I
so
remember
I'm going to put this up. I'm going to get it queued up as much as I can because, we don't have explicit permission to do this.
that.
But there he is. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
right off the
okay,
front.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so let me cue this up just so you guys can see, just so you can see what this guy allegedly looked like, and he really does look like a cross. He's very 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 monkey-like, I guess, with his build and stuff. But I'm gonna put it up on screen. Let me get it set up here. And you guys can see for yourself. And you can find this human Bigfoot hybrid from China is how I found this on YouTube. You can get it as well and check it out. I'm just going to show a few seconds of this clip, but it's absolutely fascinating. I think it's totally possible, and you'll see. We'll talk about the specifics of this. Oops, I don't have it on. Yeah, I do. I have it on the screen. Okay, but you can see in his build and the way this footage was made when they went up to research this claim. But he never wore clothes. He hated wearing clothes. And you can look at the way he moved and stuff, and it doesn't look right. His proportions look wrong. Now, there's some people that say microcephaly, like that maybe he was microcephalic, and what that means is basically the small head kind of issue, like an underdeveloped cranium area.
Right.
But the rest of his features don't match that. Usually the microcephalic people have just that features, and that's about it. But that doesn't account for a lot of his other physical attributes, which were not normal for that for human beings. When you look at that, look at the length of those arms.
Yeah.
I mean, those are enormous. His legs are actually quite long too, but and he doesn't really have a neck. I mean, he obviously does have a neck, but he really kind of doesn't, in terms of what we would call a neck. So when you see the positioning of that, you see his shoulders are here and his head is
Right,
really positioned down.
It's pushed forward like
Right.
an ape.
Right, and I find that absolutely fascinating. So this is the footage of this alleged hybrid from this Yeren female woman mating, I guess is the nicest way I can say this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean it's just surprising. It's just surprising. But he did never learn to talk. He didn't live a long life. I think he only lived into his 20-year range or 20-some years, but never learned to talk. Hated wearing clothes again. Would hardly ever wear clothes, and never seemed to get cold. So, you have to be the judge. But this is just some information that's out there, ladies and gentlemen. And it does, if this is indeed legitimate, it would show that there is a genetic similarity between us. Now, I do have to defer to Melba Ketchum's studies. I know she's come under a lot of fire for her attempts to have the genomes tested of some of the material, but it did come up as a human female mother, but an unknown father. And so that would already suggest there is, if that is true, there's already a genetic similarity going on there.
Right.
But take it or leave it. I mean, you got to come up with your own conclusions. This is never going to be about telling you what's real, what's not. This is just the information. I think that's very possible. They have his DNA. Oh, Tom Paul Cajun says they have his DNA.
Yeah, I would imagine they might.
I would love to know what they found from that. I would just be fascinated to know what they discovered from that DNA if they've sequenced it. If anybody has any more information about that, I'd love to know. This is information that I found years ago. I haven't really heard any updates, but I haven't really looked for it either. So, but very strange. You got to admit, when you're looking at that footage, that's a very strange, a physical specimen. I don't know. I don't mean to demean it because, it's a living thing. He's a living being, but
Right.
it's just, there's so many questions about this stuff. But again, if there is a genetic similarity and they're still trying to invent the perfect soldier, I mean, that's been my argument. And it's way out there. It's really X-Files kind of thinking, but could that be one of the reasons why there's such a pushback on identifying this as a viable living species in our wildernesses?
Right. Right.
If it doesn't exist, it doesn't fall under international treaty law on genetic testing. So if it doesn't exist, they're not breaking any laws.
Right.
So that's my point.
Well, and that goes back to what I was talking about them doing, studies on it. I mean,
Right.
they can do anything they want to it, and they don't have to, admit it or even, just give it a name. But then again, let's bring up the pandas, not bears, but pandas.
Yeah.
So, it took them 80 years to find the pandas. So,
Yep.
it's taken us, since, time immemorial to find Bigfoot. So, whatever.
Yeah, they're a little smarter than pandas.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah, I mean, if you're roly-poly 250 pounds falling out of trees and not getting hurt, there's something going on there.
It's like when Lloyd Pye talked about it.
Right.
If you ever get a chance, ladies and gentlemen, and I mention this every once in a
Yes.
while, but please watch it. There's a YouTube video out there. It's a little dated now, but still a great presentation by the late and great Lloyd Pye, and it's called "Everything You Know Is Wrong."
Mm-hmm.
And if you watch it, he lays down some really incredible arguments about what has happened here, what's happening here. And he does use the panda as a reference for, how adept are we at really discovering new species when we're trying to. And he brings up the search for the panda. Now, that was a legend in China. Nobody believed for a minute there could be a large bear, a type of bear that just ate vegetables, first of all, just ate plants, and that had this amazingly different kind of coat, black and white, and everybody just believed it was just silly legends. But expeditions were sent out, and it wasn't until some explorer from England happened to see a pelt that was in a village trapper's hut or whatever. And he's like, wait a minute, and he found out that was indeed the hide of a panda. Mm-hmm. And so that became the proof positive. Yeah, these things are out there. And so expedition after expedition was sent out into this small 60-mile region of China. I mean, it wasn't much bigger, but it took decades of these expeditions to find them. And they were, they were convinced that pandas must be so smart and so cunning and so amazingly adept at hiding that, that's why they weren't being found. And then, of course, they actually found pandas. And as Lloyd Pye puts it, they're about as smart as a bag of hammers. They're black and white in a green forest. Like they have no natural camouflage at all. And that they did exist, but it took so long. And it's just a really great talk.
How can you not find something that's black and white in a green forest?
In a green forest. I mean, it would be like, it's not like it's where's Waldo. It's like, here's Panda.
How could we have missed that for 70, 80 years?
Yeah, so that was the conundrum about the pandas, but it does demonstrate that we're not really that good out there, in the wilds. I mean, I'm not casting aspersions at anybody. I know some people live as much of their lives out in the nature as they can, and they're very, very good at it. Don't get me wrong, but that's a relative concept, that they're good at it as far as compared to other people.
Right.
But, You know, I don't think we're anywhere, you know, near considering those wilds a comfortable place like our own homes.
Well,
you know?
and pharmacy, Carlton said, you know, that we're the only creatures that are detuned from nature. You know, so
Yeah.
that made a lot of sense when he said it, and it still does every time I think about it.
Sure.
You know, so
Yep.
you know, we're just so out of sync with everything, and
Right.
we've mentioned that before on the show too. So
Well, yeah, yeah, and we are. I mean, you look at our societies. I mean, this is our society. It's screens and keyboards and you know, we're tuned to look at these little pictures,
right,
and we're becoming more and more tuned at it. So getting back into the sync and in balance and in, you know, and with natural awareness, with our natural gifts, you know, it would take a long time. You know, even look at, you know, 3 generations ago, compared to now. I mean, really, the 3 generations ago, people were still carving life out of, you know, out of the land.
right,
You know, now we just press a button and, you know, everything's done for us.
right.
We can, you know, we can go out and grow vegetables, or we could log on to Amazon and have them shipped to us. You know, it's like, yeah, which one are people choosing? I wonder. So, Davy Jones Locker, they are not our friends. Yeah, it's hard to know. They might be, they might not be. I know there's stories of people having fantastic relationships and communication with these beings.
Yep.
Now, what I wonder is if, you know, we've talked about it many times. Hey, good to see you, David. Hi. David Barnes says hello. But there are people that claim that they've have relationships with these things.
Right.
And is it possible? Hell, I don't know. It seems like it's a bizarre concept, but I think it is. You know, we had Kevin Lang on the show, and he talked to us about his incredible experiences with Glag. And you know, if you want to check that out, it's on our playlist. Don, did you know that we're like by Friday's show, that'll be like our 800th
800 shows.
800 shows on our YouTube archive.
Oh, God, why are we not rich? Why are we not famous?
I don't know. The 800 shows, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow.
We're going to be closing in on 800 shows by this weekend. There will be 800 videos, live streams, and otherwise that are
Otherwise, and more.
and more on our YouTube archives. So we are hitting another milestone here, almost at 800.
I would dare say,
Yeah, thank you, man.
epic.
You know, it feels epic, yeah, but yeah, the question is, you know, what do you got to do to get noticed out here?
Show a little leg.
Yeah, you don't want to see that.
I'd rather just show a picture of Glag.
Yeah, show some Glag. Yeah, we're famous to me. Oh, thank you, Nessie.
Aw.
That's really sweet. I appreciate that. Your flag. Oh, yeah. Jake says you were famous long.
Yeah, well, Carolyn. Thank you, Carolyn.
Carolyn.
Yeah, she says, Don, you're famous to us. So we're all getting love. Thank you all. But we're not here. Well, we are, but we're not here exclusively for that.
Yeah.
But, you know, I mean, you know, you take into consideration the panda. You take into consideration, you know, how long we've been looking for Bigfoot and how long we've been, you know, digging up, you know, these artifacts and these fossils and all of this stuff and all the giant stuff. And it really makes you question who's controlling it, why are they doing it, what is the purpose, you know. I was just watching a show on some streaming something or other about giants, which I found interesting. But if anybody knows who I am, you know I'm interested in the stories of the giants. So, you know, we just keep coming back to, they've got to know. They have to know. There's no way not to know.
But we don't know.
That's true.
We don't know what they know, but we speculate what they know, and we think we know.
Huh?
Thank you very much. I'm here all night, ladies and gentlemen. No, I agree. It's hard. I mean, and that's the scope of the entire program, right? It's like everything we cover. I think of all of the phenomena that we cover, ghosts, I think, are probably the most widely recognized as you know, accepted and part of our culture to some degree, and that's a global thing. But
Right.
I would have to say that I think that everything with the Bigfoots, you know, possibly even Dogman. I don't know much about Dogman. I'm very interested in it, but it's as rare as Bigfoot sightings are. Dogman is even more rare, and there's all kinds of questions as to the interdimensional possibilities that are inherent in the Dogman and in the Bigfoot, and the all these X factors that are a part of this argument, and it's hard to know what it is we're dealing with. And I'll tell you, this is something I've shared many times. When I started the show, I was sure I knew Bigfoot was this hominid that was just evasive, and we were just not really good at getting out in the woods, and he is, or he or she or they are. And so we're not really hard to avoid. But all the people we've talked to that have experienced the weird stuff, the unexplained shifts, transitions, quantum behaviors. When we had Ron Moorhead on, and he was talking about his experiences and his theories, and how amazing all of that is. And I gotta tell you, it took me a long time to even entertain the idea of there being a supernatural quality of this. Now, I never came out and said I don't believe in that, because I can't do that, because this is a show that talks about possibilities. But personally, it was always hard for me. But just over time and over hearing so many different people talk about this, and people that I believe are coming, from a place of integrity,
right.
not from I want attention now. Let me talk, and you'll be amazed at what I have to say.
Great.
These people are coming from a place of integrity, and and I just think it has taken me a long time. But I'm at least to the point where I can say, there could be something to this, but that doesn't mean I understand it, and I don't think anybody really does. Now, recently, through the course of the shows we were talking about, we covered an article by Brent Swanser of Mysterious Universe, and he writes for many things, but he's best known for his articles on Mysterious Universe. Excellent journalist, and he wrote a series of stories of people stumbling through portals in wild places and stuff. And instantly, when we were talking about that, it just occurred to me, maybe the Bigfoot isn't in and of itself supernatural, in that maybe it doesn't create the portals, but it may have an awareness of the portals that are naturally occurring out there.
Right.
And can use them to traverse areas and to disappear at will, because they know where they are, or how to get to them, or what to do in order to get through them. I think that, to me, at least where I'm at personally, I can grab onto that, and I can entertain that then, because it's kind of hard to think that there's something that is alive that can, like a wizard, and just poof, and it's gone. And to me, that's a hard one to grab onto. But I can accept the fact that maybe they are just so tuned into the ley lines and energy of this world,
right.
that these portals that I do believe are naturally occurring and could account for some of the missing 411 stuff, these people just vanishing, maybe they know about them, just like a butterfly knows how to get to South America for the migration. I mean, a butterfly shouldn't know anything, but it knows how to get to South America and then come back. I mean, it's this amazing thing that nature has available to it that we don't. And maybe it gets back to being centered. Like, we're just not very centered, and we're not really aware of the natural world around us, because we're too busy dissecting it. We're not really understanding the flow and concert of elements that work together in our natural world. But maybe the Bigfoot's aware of this stuff. Maybe it knows where these holes open up and close, and it knows where to be when, because that would explain it.
But and we also talk about the dinosaur flying thingies.
Oh yeah, exactly. Another example of what I believe are portals.
And you've also brought up Nessie and the plesiosaurs, maybe the relic plesiosaurs that may use a portal to move from bodies of water. You've mentioned that before too. Maybe Nessie is actually the only one, and Nessie shows up in Lake Champlain, and Oga, the one up north, and maybe even in our own lake, Lake Ponderay here, the Ponderay Paddler.
Yeah.
So maybe they just know. Again, they live in water. Water is major energy. and maybe it's just easier for them to transition. Who knows? But once again, just another example of the portal energy,
Right.
and the natural knowledge of where they are.
Yeah. So see, I can grab onto that a lot better, and that's not meant. It's not coming from a Homo sapien ego place. It's just that, I don't know. It just to me is easier to grab onto the fact that they might be aware of them, can
Right.
utilize them to travel great distances. Now, case in point, that I believe that these are at least partially somewhat responsible for some of the missing 411 thing, is that how many times in hearing those missing 411 stories do you hear? He was in bad shape, kind of, old,
Right.
not able to move real well, and he disappeared. He was just gone. And then they'll find the body across these, huge distances,
Right.
across impossible terrain. And suddenly there's the body there. Well, maybe that's where that portal goes. It goes to that place that, he lost his life at somehow in that transition.
Right.
And I don't know. I mean, I don't know that that's true, but it's just stuff that I think about, because this stuff it's just curious to me. It's just so incredibly fascinating. But I don't know. That's the portal for you, ladies and gentlemen. There's no real solid answers. There's just solid questions.
As dumb as they may come off occasionally.
Yeah, exactly. Let's talk about this one. This is in the and more category. This is coming from unexplainedmysteries.com. It has to do with our recent lockdown. It says UFO sightings in the U.S. were up during lockdown. Duh. It's like people are out of work. They're sitting around and probably more aware of the world around them than in an awful long time. Because you can only Netflix and chill so much. And then you go outside and
Wow, what's this called? Outside.
outside. Ooh, what's that bright blue stuff above me? That's the sky. So apparently, ladies and gentlemen, the UFO sightings in the U.S. were up during the lockdown. And it says, it turns out the more people than ever have been watching the skies during the Coof pandemic.
Le Couf.
Le Coof. It might be the most obvious pastime, but scanning the heavens for signs of UFOs has been an increasingly popular activity in recent months, thanks no small part to the virus and the lockdown that left millions unable to do much of anything else while outside of their own homes. According to the National UFO Reporting Center, NUFORC, NUFORC, a nonprofit organization that investigates and catalogs UFO sightings in the United States.
That's New Force.
New Force? Oh, okay.
They're based right over there in Washington.
Okay, New Force is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. I just learned something new. I felt wrong when I said New Fork. There's been a 51% increase in the number of UFO sightings over this time last year. 51%. Well, that's, a lot more people watching.
You think so?
Yeah. It says, in a time of crisis, we look elsewhere for salvation, even if it means looking to the stars, said New Force director Peter Davenport.
That's correct.
Back in January, a poll by Ipsos found that 57% of Americans believe that there's life elsewhere in the universe, and 45% are under the impression that aliens have visited our Earth. That's a pretty good number.
Yeah.
Similar poll in Pipilsay, Pipilsay, Pipilsay in February found that 61% wanted the U.S. government to declassify and release all available information on the topic of UFOs. Well, that's, as more people see this stuff, I guess they want to know what the hell they're seeing.
Well, yeah, it's because they're like 4-year-olds who never saw, anything in their life, and because they've been so busy playing on their technology and looking like this and walking down, the technological zombies.
They could have been watching The Portal.
Yeah.
Almost 800
Why
episodes.
are you wasting your time watching the other crap? I mean, come on.
Come on up, snuggle up to The Portal.
Come on, we're friendly fellas. We only bite on Mondays. But, yeah, people are finally getting out and looking and going, you know what, there's something interesting going on out here.
Right.
And, so, yeah, it's up because they don't know what the hell they're looking at in the first place.
Well, there is that. I mean, so if somebody's not used to looking at the sky, it's hard to tell the difference between a satellite and what could be an anomalous craft high up in the sky.
Exactly.
So there is that. Maybe that's part of the increase, but maybe there's really that many here, Don. What do you think it is?
I want to say that we have. I want to believe the stranger in the Pentagon story. I really do.
Is that the Val Thor?
Valiant Thor, yeah.
Okay.
I want to believe that. That's more interesting to me than all the BS that we're inundated with. I mean, I'd rather listen to that story again than listen to tomorrow's news. So yeah, I like the idea of knowing that there's deep underground bases and there are alien bases up underneath there, according to certain people, like Phil Schneider.
Phil Schneider, yeah.
And other people's. There's lots more, and listening to Bob Lazar and just all these people, and I like that idea.
Mm-hmm.
I really do.
I think there's a lot going on out there, ladies and gentlemen. So the question is, what do you guys think? Do you think there's more? Is there more UFO activity, or is there just more people paying attention?
Somebody just erased this, but they said something about, there's more going on with the aliens than you want to know. Now, that's an interesting statement, though, because it reminds me of something.
Somebody just said that, but they erased it.
They did, and I know exactly who it was. But anyhow, because I watched the chat.
Okay.
But I watched this thing. I can't remember. It was on YouTube, and supposedly there were some bodies that were recovered that were drained of fluids, basically exsanguinated, and but the theory is that they're being drained of adrenochrome.
Oh, don't bring us down that road.
But but I'm just saying, and it's by aliens.
Oh, okay.
So aliens are supposedly coming and getting this. The elixir of life, per se.
Come on, Billy Glebe-Thorpe. Those anuses ain't going to cord themselves.
So, I mean, it's just one of those things. Maybe there is something nefarious going on regarding that. So
maybe. I don't know. I definitely don't want to walk that road as much as,
right.
And it's not because I don't believe things could be that horrible. It's just I don't want to discuss those horrible things.
So, but, it was the point.
No, I hear you. Them anuses ain't going to core themselves. That's all I'm saying.
You always come back to cord anuses.
This is because it keeps happening. It keeps happening, Don.
Relish Razor says, we're going back to cow butts? No, we're not. He said, actually, we're going back into cow butts. No, I never came out of one. I'm not going to go back in one.
Hey.
Keep it down, Razor. Come on.
That's the one time he actually chats.
Caviar.
That's the one time he actually chats.
What is up with you? What is it, genetic? I think it's genetic.
Could be. Ladies and gentlemen, Relish Razor is my oldest child.
I think it's genetic.
That apple don't fall too far from the tree, does it? I think it's troubling and weird. It's not that. I just mean the whole cattle mutilation thing. I don't understand it. I don't know what they can learn. These fairly advanced civilizations are absolutely fascinated by it, but.
He says you can tell where I get it. Yeah, I think so.
Well, your mother? No.
Hey, whipped out a your mama joke.
Sorry. I'm here all night, ladies and gentlemen.
No.
Funny. Funny stuff, I tell you. Good God.
Wow.
He says, okay. Could be because of the Navy's acknowledgments of the Tic Tacs that people are starting to look at more. Yeah, I think that's true.
Interesting, yeah.
I think that, of course, I'm obviously excited about that because it's the first acknowledgement of any official capacity by any kind of government body that I'm aware of.
As long as it wasn't funneled through the TTBSA.
Yeah, oh God, yeah. Did you add a B in there?
I'm sorry? I'm sorry, what?
Did you add a B in there?
I think I just woke up. Huh?
Yeah. Isn't that a Isn't that a talent program?
It was benevolent.
It was benevolent. Okay,
benevolent.
gotcha. Yeah, but I think it's great. I think it's fantastic that acknowledgement is there. I don't know if it heralds the disclosure that we're all hoping for.
Right,
I think it has to, though. I really do, because the cat's out of the bag. But the other part is that you got to wonder, are they trying to lead us in a direction they want us to go with the information,
Right.
rather than the truth? And that's always the suspicious part. That's the Fox Mulder in me, right? Where you never take anything quite at the face value, because
Right.
you're always looking for the chess moves that are waiting,
Right.
And so that's the cautious optimism that I tend to have. And it's not that, I think it's great. Again, it's great to have some kind of acknowledgement, because there's people that have seen these things and have been absolutely ostracized.
Right.
I've never experienced the ostracizing of, what I've saw, but I've only shared it here on my own show. So, I mean, and other people's shows on the
You
topic.
just happen to be worldwide right now, partner.
I know, but what I'm saying is I have not gotten one statement from anybody going, "You are so full of crap, you blah, 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 blah." Nobody's ever done that. And I really respect that. I appreciate it, because, nobody has to share their stories. Nobody has to share that part of their lives, but it certainly is cathartic to be able to. It's certainly an amazing thing to have a body or a group of people that want to hear that kind of stuff, Uh-oh. What am I missing?
Chacha says, likes, people likes, and Don will bring you breakfast in bed.
Ooh, there you go. You might get some beard in there, but
Now you know what I'm gonna get is, how'd you get my house? Here's breakfast.
do you like toast?
do you like with butter or dry?
Yeah. All right.
Oh wow. So wow.
Yeah, but we're kind of coming to the end. How's it going out there, ladies and gentlemen? I hope you guys have enjoyed this. If you're not already subscribed, we hope you become subscribed and become a part of the family. We love doing this. We've been doing it for a while. As I mentioned, we're at nearly 800 episodes. So,
And here's the fun part. All of those episodes are at least a minimum of an hour.
Yeah.
And the greater bulk of them are 2 hours.
yeah, so there's
that's
a
like-
lot of Portal out there waiting for you.
Like almost 2,000
And
hours.
there's a lot of bad episodes in there, too.
I wouldn't say bad. I'd say challenged.
If you check out all those episodes,
Oh
you are gonna get the full meal deal of what the Paranormal Portal has been. There are train wrecks in there. There are absolute disasters. There's some brilliant episodes. There's lots of decent and good episodes, but it's the whole spectrum. So
And I'm still waiting for you guys to start sending in titles and time codes to your favorite ones. Bring them up, send them to us, so we can put together something, a fan favorite video or something. Come on.
yeah, you never know. So but thank you guys, Kelowna Expedition. Okay, thanks, Duke. Excellent. If I'm on it, excellent. Duke.
Oh boy, did you censor some stuff?
I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know. I'm almost nervous to see what's on there.
there.
But no, check out the World Bigfoot Radio. Check out the Kelowna episode Duke just put up.
Yeah.
Has to do with, we were over there last July, beginning of July.
Last July.
Yeah.
You
well,
make it
it's-
sound like it was like a long time ago.
Feels like it.
It feels
it
like
really
it.
does.
It's
It feels
only
like
been
a long
2
time ago.
months.
Yeah, but we were over there and investigating a ghost town, but it's also an area that's known for having Bigfoot activity as well.
Squatches.
We don't have any for sure Bigfoot activity that we captured, but there's always something in the footage there if you look through it. But we had some great times, great people, great fun.
Yeah, it was
And
wonderful.
check
It's
out World
awesome.
Bigfoot Radio on YouTube, and check out Duke's video that kind of highlights all of that.
I'm gonna have to watch it too.
Well, hell yeah, you are.
I'm gonna have to. Hey Duke, maybe you shouldn't put that in there. Yeah, that puts me in a really.
Hey.
It is what it is.
I don't want to hear about your positions.
Hey.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Don, anything in closing, brother? Because
Hey.
we are at the end.
Ain't no core in here, baby.
Oh, God, do I got to end the show on that? You left me that to leave?
That's up to you.
Oh, my God.
You asked me my position. Ain't that one.
Oh, and that's the
Wow.
last time I'm going to let you close the show. All right, guys, we'll be back. I'll be back tomorrow night for some night terrors. So hope you join me. And if you're not familiar with it, the night terrors are the 1 hour ghost story, ghost encounters episodes. And then Friday I'll be here for 2 hours, and Don will be back on Saturday with me for our Saturday show. So lots of good fun coming up here on the portal. But we love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day, and remember to laugh as much as you can. Check out our Teespring store if you want some portal gear. This isn't portal gear, but they're shirts. I'm motioning for the shirt, not my shirt. This is a NASA shirt, but yeah, go to the Teespring link in the description, and as well as the Bandcamp if you like the music of the portal. There's a Bandcamp link in there where you can download your own copies. So that's all I got. Don, anything that has nothing to do with anuses and stuff?
Hump day.
Hump day. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's all downhill for here. Take it away. We'll see you tomorrow night if you join me on the Night Terrors. Otherwise, take care. Love you all. And just keep coming in. 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time right here on YouTube. Wednesday through Sunday. There's always a portal going on. Subscribe, like, ring the bell, spread the word. Let people know about the portal. All right, guys. Love ya, and good night.
Good night.